Hey everybody, Leslie Sansone Williams here. How are you? Um, I want to go over this list because some of these pertain to me personally, and I'll talk about those. So, there are reasons why people seek new employment. Now, I'm going to adjust this a little bit. Hang on. And, it could be, yes, it could be that people are unhappy in their current position, right? But there are other reasons too, and I'll go over what some of these are for the. This is a little off kilter. So thanks for joining me today. By the way, if you're here with me live, um, for me, I started off in condemnation litigation and eminent domain, and you can Google that and find out what those areas of law are about. But it wasn't that I wanted to change positions. I wanted to make more money, okay? And I was making a very low salary because this was my first job and I was driving a long way to get to work every day. Wear and tear on my car, never mind gas. I could have brought my lunch, but I decided to just run out and get something. I'd go out for lunch, which I always recommend you do. Even if you bring your lunch, you never stay inside because they'll come to expect that. But it may be that once you're in your first job and you've been there for, let's pretend we'll play like 2 years, and you think, well, I don't like this area of law. I want to work in something else, and you've wanted to work maybe in immigration, or you've wanted to work in commercial law or whatever. You wanted to work in lawsuits that involve businesses. Like maybe as you were in your first 2 years of your job, you learned more about the different areas of law. Maybe you want to work in real estate and you want to do closings, but whatever it is, you're not happy in that first job, and so you want to change to a different area of law. It's acceptable to leave your first job, but you have to weigh everything. Like, am I happy here with the people I work with? Am I happy with the pay? Probably not if it's your first job. And if you were there a year and they gave you, say, a 2% raise, are you happy with that amount of raise? Or would you prefer, and I know this sounds like a no-brainer question, but so much, you have to weigh this so much as to, are you happy with your coworkers? Are you happy working with the attorney you work with? So many variables. And for me, it was about making more money, of course, even though I liked my paralegal coworker who was a mentor of mine, and I liked the attorney I worked 3 or 4 trials with as a newbie. So that was a difficult thing for me to leave. But I felt I needed to. My pride was hurt because a raise that was promised was reneged on. And I'm glad I didn't stay because it stretched me. It made me a better paralegal to then work in the next area of law, which was personal injury. And we worked in some heart wrenching cases. Okay. And so, but it may be that you are discovering that you want to work in a different area of law. Okay. And that's a reason why paralegals leave. That's a very common reason. Number two, you need to make more money. Another big reason why we change jobs. And I've done that many, many times to increase my salary because it was, to me, increasing very slowly. And I needed it to go faster and go higher faster because I had a family to support. And it wasn't just me on my own trying to make rent. It was me, my husband, and 2 daughters. So, number three, you want to increase your legal knowledge. And that definitely was me. You know, when you get to a certain point, you might get bored with the area of law you're in and you want to learn some more. It may be that also, as it was with me in the first job, I wasn't being allowed to do some things because the paralegal felt that that was in her arena and not mine. And I felt that I would never be able to stretch if I didn't make the break out of that box. And that's what I did. And I was right. So sometimes you have to increase your legal knowledge by leaving the law firm. Let's see, number 4. There's too much stress at your current job for whatever reasons, whether it's coworkers or the attorney or the type of clientele. It could be 3 or 4 different things or more that are causing you grief. I see a lot of snarky comments by paralegals who are not happy on the internet, online. But the thing is, you don't have to stay where you are. If there's a fear of changing, then you're going to be stuck where you are. And I never wanted to be stuck. So if it was not a good situation with gossipy coworkers and, it's just, in some cases, it could be that the attorney is misbehaving, then you need to seek your fortunes elsewhere into a better atmosphere. But that's again where you have to be a detective in understanding what is that culture in the law firm you're looking at going into. You have to be able to pick up on the vibes during the interview. You always have to meet the attorney. You should always see your workplace. They may not want to show it to you on the first interview, but when they call you back and they want to hire you, your contingency should be that, well, can I come in and meet some of the people there? And can I look at to see where I would be working? If the attorneys in my first job, well, not my first job, but one of the jobs in Tallahassee, were so embarrassed regarding where they put me and where I had to work. It was it used to be a closet, and they took the door off, and they put a desk in there. So now it actually had a window. So go figure that. But they would come up to me and apologize because they didn't have enough room. I actually did not mind that. They didn't have any more cubicles left. I was glad to not be in a cubicle. I actually had hard walls around me, and but it was all open on this one side. It wasn't like, you're sitting in a doorway. And so they were very embarrassed over that. So my thing is, when they're serious about you, you have the chutzpah to say, well, before I say yes, and I'm leaning towards yes, can I come in and see my workspace, see where I'd be working, and meet some of the people currently that would be my colleagues, my coworkers. And they might be taken back by that, by the way, but that's what you should do to protect yourself. Number 5, this has happened to me. The current law firm is struggling financially. And, you'll start to see people leaving. You'll start to see attorneys leaving. It could be that the attorney, there was not a personality fit between the attorneys, or between the attorney and the senior partner, or the partnership didn't pan out the way they wanted it to, and that's why the attorney's leaving. But it could also be that there's financial issues that, you're not being told about, but that you can pick up on. So if you see like a satellite office closing down, there's problems in management, in marketing, and running a business. And it's just not profitable. So what does that mean for you? It means you could be out of a job. So you have to have your nose to the ground. You have to watch what's happening around you. You cannot be an ostrich with your head in the sand, because this has all happened to me. I've had partners leave, and then I'm without work, and they don't know what, they have to have income coming in through an attorney. And if they bill out your time as a paralegal in order to support you and to pay the bills and all of that, and pay for your benefits. So where's that coming from? You have to be aware of this. It's a business, and sometimes they're run very well, and sometimes they're not. So you watch, and you protect yourself by looking around and seeing what jobs are open. You protect yourself. Number 6, very little work at your current law firm. Sometimes this goes hand in hand with number 5, where in my case, an attorney left, and she produced most of the work for me. And I loved working with her, but she needed to have more of a life. And so she went where she could get out at 5:30 instead of 8 o'clock at night. And so working with another one of the, like the senior partner, wasn't going to be as fun for me, because this other attorney and I had great camaraderie, and she and other people from the firm went out to lunch together, and it just, the atmosphere changed when she left. And so I left too, but I gave myself a huge raise by going to the next law firm. So if there's very little work, then something's wrong, and you have to be aware of that. If when I owned a plant nursery years ago, if I wasn't having clientele coming in to buy plants, how am I going to pay a part-timer that I hired, or several part-timers that I hired? I wouldn't be able to, would I? Same thing at a law firm. It's a business. So when the work is drying up, somebody's not marketing, and somebody doesn't know how to market. Somebody doesn't know how to bring new clientele in, and that is problematic. That's a problem for any business if you don't know how to bring customers in. Number 7, you need to be appreciated for your skills. You know, when you start out and you're a newbie, well, after 2 years, you're not a newbie anymore. You know, you've got some chops. You know how to do a lot of things. And so it's nice to be recognized for your skills. That isn't the way it is in a law firm many times. I had to pat myself on the back, and sometimes I would say to the attorney, was the research I did okay? And they'd go, yeah, it was really good. And then they'd go on their way. Was that paragraph or that area that I wrote for you that you wanted, was that okay? Yes, that, you know. So I would have to pull it out of them, you know, not because I needed compliments. Number 1, I wanted to know if the work was good. Number 2, then I wanted acknowledgement, and that's okay to want acknowledgement that you are doing a good job. But there's so many that will not do that. Okay, and that's not just relegated to law firms. That's also to any other business, that it's hard for people to say it except in a review, which is crazy. So it may be that you're going to leave because you're going to go with someone else who needs your skills. And oh, you're so welcome. Thanks for your comment. I appreciate you being here with me. Good deal. Thank you. You know, it may be what I feel is this. I used to go, like, I took a course in Microsoft Word. I wanted to see how much I knew. That's why I took it. And it was a free course, and you got a free test, but you had to pay for the certificate. I think it was like $5. This is many years ago, okay? It doesn't even, it was a company called Brain Bench, BENCH, brainbench.com. And when they started out, they offered a lot of free tests. I think most of them are, you have to pay if they're still out there. And but I took a free Microsoft Word test, and then I got a certificate that I had to pay like $5 for shipping or something. So I put, and they were about this big, and I would put them in frames and put them up. Couldn't hang them on the wall, not allowed to, but I had a shelf, and I put them on my shelf, and the attorneys would notice this. I got one in Microsoft Word, one in English, grammar. Number 3, I don't think it was typing, but I had one in people skills, like management. So I put all those up there, and that did not go unnoticed. So if you have, I'm not saying you need certificates, but it's interesting. Number 8, the vibes or the atmosphere at the current job are not good. Well, that's why I tell you, when you're going to hunt for a job, you need to be fussy, and you need, and someone said we needed a t-shirt in my group. in my course that I teach. We need to have a t-shirt, be fussy, be aware. Well, by fussy, I mean I want you to pick up on the vibes when you go on interviews. I want you to check out your workspace. I want you to meet your future colleagues before you say yes. When they're serious and they're doing like a second interview with you, and even if it's on the phone, say, before I accept, could I come in and meet some of my coworkers and see where I'd be working? Now, the vibes are going to tell you a lot, the atmosphere, the countenance of people. If they're sitting there and they're like, their face is just, they're very sad, and you're picking up on that, there's something wrong. And that's not an error in judgment by you, and that's not being judgy. That's protecting yourself from going into an atmosphere that is horrendous. Now, had I met a lot of people when I went into one particular law firm in Northern Florida, might not have gone there, but it was meant that I be there. And so I had to stand my ground. I don't like to gossip. And that's what all these people were doing in this law firm. And then I became part of the gossip, and it was horrendous for about 2 months. And I don't wish that on anybody. So I would check out all of this before you accept a job. Be very fussy, be very aware. And don't stay in a place that is dragging you down consistently every day, because you're going to bring it home. You will bring it home. It's hard for us as humans not to. And it can affect your mental health, your physical health, and your atmosphere at your house. So don't do that. You're worth more than that. And then number 9, your mentors have left. So like me at the first law firm, what if there's a mentor, and that mentor, after you're there 6 months to a year, leaves? Now by then you're going to have some bona fide experience, knowledge, chops, but you're going to miss that mentor like I did. And so you have to decide, what do you like about that place that you're working in? Do you like it enough to stay, or are you seeking, sometimes we want to duplicate the happiness we had at the place where we were, everything was going according to plan, and it's all in our mind perfect, and then it changes. And then we want to duplicate that happiness, that contentment, that peace, and we can't always, and so I wouldn't try to duplicate it, but I would look for the place where you're the happiest, though. And that takes investigation. That takes doing what I said, that before you accept a job, that you say, can I come in and see my workspace? They should be showing you that anyway, but some don't. Some don't know to do that. They, especially if they're going to put you in a closet like me, they won't show you. And you need to meet some of your future coworkers, your potential coworkers, and get a vibe from them. In one firm I went in, if I had met the coworkers, I would not have taken the job, because they were upset that I was replacing somebody they loved who was let go. That's happened to me 2 or 3 times, unbeknownst to me, because they're not going to tell you that in an interview. So don't let any of this be perturbing or disturbing to you. Just, it's wisdom. After 28 years working in this biz, it's wisdom. And I want you to get that wisdom from a veteran paralegal so that you can avoid some of the pitfalls. But it's also okay to leave a job. And I want you to be concerned about numero uno. And numero uno, number 1 on the front burner, is you. You're the one that matters in this equation. The employer's back here. And yes, loyalty is grand and it's wonderful, as long as it's loyalty all the way around. And that's as rare, it's something my husband would say, rare as hen's teeth, because hens don't have teeth. And so I want you to protect yourself. and be very vigilant, diligent, and fussy, and very aware of your surroundings when you go in for an interview and what's really going on in that law firm, okay? And once you're in it, in your first job, second job, third job, are you content? Are you happy in what you're doing? In the type of law, the people that surround you, which includes your coworkers and your attorney, the distance you have to drive to go to work, all of it, weigh it all, and do things that make you happy. Okay, well, that is it for today. Those were the 9 reasons why paralegals might leave a law firm or might seek employment, new employment elsewhere. I hope that was helpful to you. And if you have any other reasons, like if you're a veteran paralegal and you have reasons without getting into Snarkville and negativity, just being honest, then post them below because I'd love to hear them. And because it's helpful to people who are going into this field. But let me tell you that as a paralegal, and this is my channel, trolls are not tolerated. They are banned. And those comments are held for review and they will be deleted anyway. So don't waste your breath. But for those who have constructive things to say, go right ahead and post them because I would love to hear from you. Thanks for being here on the live with me. I appreciate you. But ask questions below, make comments. I love to hear from you. There's a lot of videos here, so be sure that if you're new to this career, that you binge watch. And this is what I always say. It's my saying I use a lot. Take notes. When you're watching an interview video, put interview at the top. Why? It's training you. And categorize your notes. And so you put interview, and you might put all the questions you should ask in an interview. Big hint. So when you're watching my videos, I would categorize notes and I would take notes so that you will retain it better instead of just binge watching. And you know, it might be where you never go back and watch that video again. So get the most out of it, all right? So have a great day, and I will talk to you in the next live video, more than likely tomorrow. So come by and hang out with me. Love to have you there. Bye.